Hello, my name is Alan, and today I'm facilitating a session of Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark. This is my light reskin stroke hack of Hit the Streets, Defend the Block by Rich Rogers. This is organized as part of the Gauntlet Community's RPG calendar, our monthly calendar. We have, about 100 games a month on, so, we'd like you to come and join us. If you want to find out what it's like to play with the Gauntlet, then I think the weekend of the 25th to 28th of February is our next Gauntlet Open Gaming Weekend. Come and try playing with us. If you like us, then we'd love you to back the Gauntlet's Patreon, which not only allows us to organize a calendar and such like, but it also means that depending on which level you back, you would get access to the Codex magazine. You would support the Gauntlet's many podcasts, Plus One Forward, Fear of Black Dragon, the Gauntlet podcast, the Trophy podcast, and also support the publishing arm of the Gauntlet, which so far has Hearts of Wulin, Trophy, Brindlewood Bay, and I feel like I should be thinking of a fourth one, but it's gone for the moment. And you'd also have a chance to play in the Gauntlet Comics continuity. This is a comic book series run by a variety of different facilitators on the Gauntlet. The only thing I think they genuinely have in common is they have something to do with New Gauntlet City. I'll do a quick CATS, concept, aims, tone, subject matter, just to remind the players what they've signed up for. So the concept, it's 1935. Prohibition in the US ended a couple of years ago. And over that same kind of period, Hitler has consolidated his grip on Germany. As part of his intention to create a 1,000-year Reich, he's dispatched nefarious agents to all corners of the world in search of ancient artifacts, powerful occult items, and anything else they can use to harness the supernatural to give the Nazi Party power over the fate of the world. This is a game about pulp heroes stopping those nefarious agents in their tracks. The obvious kind of links here are any pulp serial that you would care to name, alongside Indiana Jones and its like. You'd probably also maybe throw in a bit Dick Tracy there, I don't know. In terms of the aim, we're going to begin in media res in New Gauntlet City and discover who's doing what to whom and why in play. We'll collaborate to agree what's amiss and play to find out how our pulp heroes do as they seek to thwart these evil schemes. I guess that in subsequent sessions, we will then, this is only a two-shot, so in the next session, we will define a new locale for whatever clues are found this time. Where will it take us? Tone. Well, look, we have Nazis and the occult in play. But my feel for the tone of this game is distinctly 15 plus rather than 18 plus. I said the obvious media touchstones are Indiana Jones. So, we're looking for exciting rather than gloomy and gory. While it's unlikely that these gruesome adult themes will be explored in this game, but just to make sure we have a shared understanding of the nature of the play we're aiming for, I have included some safety tools here. We are going to be playing with the X card, and for those of you who haven't played with me before, the best way to play the X card for me is to display it, because I'm not good at monitoring the chat, I'll be honest. I tend to be looking at you. If you do put it in the chat, feel free to put it in the chat. But if one of the other players feels I haven't reacted to it, please draw my attention to it. We'll be playing with an open door. So, if this turns out not to be the game that you signed up for goodness sake, don't sit here and grin and bear it. The object of the open door is to simply say, this isn't for me, thanks, but I'm off. That's fine. Similarly, if something comes up in the real world, you are not chained to this table, folks. Please, you have a real life, which should take priority over your gaming life, I think. So if something happens in the real world and you have to leave, that's fine. We'd love to have you come back, but if you don't, we'll just play on. We're also playing with lines and veils, and I would direct the players to the lines and veils tab, where I've set up some starting ones. I think some of you have added some more. So do please check that out. I'll have a look at that before we start. I won't list them now because sometimes that's as triggering as having them down. Anyway. And finally, we'll be I've just noticed that I've not updated this CATS. We'll be playing with the Gauntlet Code of Conduct. My brief summary of the Code of Conduct is no one around the table wants to be a dick. I guess the more sophisticated reading of it would be that it's designed to support respect at the table. And for me, that respect is around turn taking, sharing the spotlight. It's about not interrupting other characters. Not inserting yourself into scenes which another player has set up for their character unless invited, and just good polite conduct of the table. That's what I think the code of conduct is about. So with all that in mind, then let us meet our players. So I'll take this in character keeper order, if I may, because I'm getting too old to keep any other kind of order in my mind. So let me start by saying, hi, Alexi, say hello, give us your pronouns, and tell us about Russell Rocky Rockwell.
Hey, so I am Alexi Sargent, he, him. You can follow all of my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games, so definitely check out Cloven Pine Games on Twitter and on itch.io, where I've got a game in a bundle for Epimus, the holiday celebration of gaming cheer organized by Epidiah Ravachol. And in this game, I am going to be playing Russell Rocky Rockwell. He is the bruiser and an awesome inventor. And there's not that much you need to know about Rocky. Rocky loves 5 things in life. He loves his wife, Molly. He loves his little boy, Tommy. He loves his little girl, Rosie. His country, America. And his souped-up, bright red 1933 Dodge pickup, Cherry. He's I think a tinkerer and a wheelman, and perhaps he's he's built some bonus juice into that truck.
I was going to ask you about that family, but I noticed you've already put something down in your bio. So Molly, Tommy, Rosie, and as with all of you, you are in this for democracy. So good to see you love your country. A 1933 Dodge, great. You said he's an inventor. Is he an inventor? Because let me just share with our thousands of viewers this picture of Rocky. He looks like it's at the mechanical end of inventions rather than super science. Is that fair?
I'd say that's fair. I mean, but things can shade into each other, right? I think he's in his garage, right? Clicking things together, and then sometimes what comes out might defy conventional science, but he's just like, just a little thing I threw together there.
The thing that he immediately sprung to mind for me was, remember that Batman animated series where they show you the guy who designs the Batmobile? Like, it's one of the best episodes.
Fine, that will do for friend Rocky. Moving along, Joe, say hello. Give us your pronouns. Tell us about Diana Darling, aka Miss Fortune.
Hey, I'm Joe Lean. They, them, she, her. I'm not a game designer. I designed an accessory for Worldwide Wrestling, which you could find on Drive-Thru Cards. It's called Instant Heat. I'm playing Diana Darling, aka Ms. Fortune. She's a wealthy socialite about town by day, mass crime fighter by night. I didn't think too much more about that. Because I was like, I got to build something. I don't know.
No, don't worry. This is not meant to have deep psychological backstory around these folks. Yeah. But I am curious then. You say socialite by day, masked vigilante by night.
And sometimes day. Crime never rests. Neither does misfortune. It's just easier at night.
So one thing I will want to know, because I have a suspicion we may start off in socialite mode. But I will be asking you, how does the transformation occur? Because I think that would be good to know. Okay, thank you for that. Moving along, Will, say hello and tell us about Rosy Strand.
I am across 2 different machines because roll with me is definitely the thing to use for this. So I apologize if at any moment I'm frantically scrambling for the wrong mouse. Anyways, Rosy Strand is an alternate version of my Brindlewood Bay character, and B, a plucky reporter for the Gauntlet Gazette, a paper affectionately known as the Gazetteer. She is no one can tell Rosy no. She wants to find out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And God, it doesn't matter whether or not it's causing problems for the people upstairs. In fact, more so the better. Her husband Arthur is overseas reporting from the European front, and she is deeply invested in moving the American effort to join the war.
We are in 1935.
Yes. Well, I mean, not to join the war, but to he is then for in Europe, reporting on the growing tensions in Germany.
Fine. And will almost certainly be in Spain in a matter of months, I would have thought.
Oh yes, he's met this lovely man from the BBC named George.
Okay, and I guess I'm curious then. Does she have a beat in terms of for the Gazetteer?
Yeah, I think her beat is it's the crime beat. It's the organized crime beat, the mob beat, because no one sees Rosie coming. They keep trying to warn her away, and that just makes her even more determined to stick her nose into things.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Okay, Brandon, say hello and tell us about Alan Dark, Mr. Midnight.
Alan Dark, also known as Mr. Midnight, is a fellow driven to investigate and defeat criminals because of a darkness in his personal past, which he does not reveal. He's an investigator of problems and unsolved mysteries, and is an expert at getting criminals to confess or open up when they don't want to. His heart is as mysterious as his past, and the only person in his life is his girl Friday and his assistant, Miss Myra Davis.
Okay, and so is Mr. Midnight a stage name because he's a mesmerist, or not?
I hadn't decided, and so I'd like to figure that out now.
Okay, but so Alan Dark is his alter ego. Mr. Midnight is when he's mesmerizing. I'm assuming.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yes, that is the guy. He's not exactly a masked vigilante, because A, that's already taken, and and B, he doesn't mask up, but it is an alias that he is known and feared around the crime world, as this uncanny force that seems to undo criminals under circumstances where it's impossible, that their schemes should have been found out. So it was Mr. Midnight. So I think it's a shadowy alias.
Yeah, and I would show our many viewers a picture, but I haven't got a link for the picture. But I am if they're thinking of the Shadow, then they wouldn't be a million miles away.
No, his talent, right? His mesmerist talent is substantially the "you did not see me" thing that allows him to listen in on crime plans, and that's the source of much of his unraveling of schemes which otherwise couldn't have been done.
So when he's mesmerizing, does he have to see them? Do they have to look into his eyes? I won't ask you to answer that question now, but I will want to know how it works. Yeah, because I want to steer clear of a superpower, if I'm honest.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise we'd be playing Hit the Streets. So here we have our characters then. We have something to do before we get into In Media Res, which, I I noticed that now we have Diana Darling as well. Hang on, let me add Diana to our audience's perceptions. Now that is socialite condensed. That is just ultimate socialite. Love that one. Thank you, Joe, for that one. Okay, so before we do that, we need to work out what's going on in New Gauntlet City. Yeah, so I'd ask you to look at the episodes tab. Now, the conceit of this game, as I envisage it, first time we've played it, first time I've played it, is that they all these serials, however long they are, 2 or more, they always begin in New Gauntlet City. So you will see that some of this is already filled in. So where's the principal location? New Gauntlet City. What's the local climate? I think of it as temperate. And I think of the local terrain as it being basically a big flat city with the odd kind of hill here and there. But I do want to know what's at the center of this episode. So I'm going to do this in the order I can see you on screen. So let me go first to our ace reporter. Rosie, what do you need to achieve in this episode? There's a drop down with some options for you to choose from.
So which one of those? Because that's not one of the questions there. What do we need to achieve?
What do we
I see the top one, sorry, because
yeah.
it's what's at the center of the episode. Yes, of course, sorry. Right. I was looking in the wrong column for that one. Should have just started at the top. I think someone is in danger. Save them.
Okay, well, would you select that one? So we know someone is in danger. We have to, you are looking to save them. Now we know it's New Gauntlet City, we know it's temperate, we know it's plains, but let me go to Diana, Misfortune. Yes, we are going to deal with unknowing dupes manipulated by, and we'll choose who in a bit. Tell us about someone or something that you might find here that could be useful. So what do you think in New Gauntlet City is going to help you with all of this?
There's Max Diamond. He's the local. He was the big bootlegger mobster, but now that's not legal. So it's just like got an illegal casino, basically. I presume gambling is illegal. I don't really know the laws.
If you want it to be illegal, it's illegal.
Yeah, he's got an illegal casino that, it's like I busted him up a few times, but like he always like slips through, but he's always good for information.
So is the casino a kind of marketplace for information?
Yeah.
Fine, that's neat. And shall we call it the Star Casino?
Sure.
Because I happen to have it over my shoulder. Okay, so Max Diamond runs the Star Casino, and the Star Casino is a great place.
Yeah. It's a nightclub, but also,
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just
I'm very much thinking like in Dick Tracy, the Big Boy Caprice thing, where everything flips over and rotates.
So nightclub and bracket illegal casino and information broker. Okay. Let me go to Rocky. Tell us about a contact you have in New Gauntlet City who's always useful. We've got a place. Give me a contact.
Yeah, okay, good one. Let's see. I feel like we've hit a lot of archetypes just with our PCs. I'll give us an academic contact. Professor Breckenridge has an ear to the ground for strange goings on, right? Things that are uncanny always cross his radar, and so he just is interested in the academic side of it, but he's willing to share information with those who are ready to take matters into their own hands and try to solve some of this stuff.
Fine. Would you just put something about Professor Breckenridge in that cell
Absolutely.
of the keeper, just as an aid memoir to us all?
Absolutely.
And finally, let me come to our mesmerist and hustler, Alan Dark. Alan, aka Mr. Midnight. Tell us about someone who's got a down on you here in New Gauntlet City.
What does that mean?
Oh, someone who's got something against you or is likely to want to interfere with your best efforts. Other than the Nazis, of course.
I was about to say, well, okay, so I have to, eliminating that whole category of people. Simon Hirsch is why not the mayor of New Gauntlet City?
Oh wow!
Who considers that that people like us are interfering with the process, with the so either the mayor or the police chief, your pick, interfering with the proper process of law and order, and should be treated as criminals and or drummed out of this town.
I mean, could we make him more street level? Could we make him the senior police captain?
Sure,
because
absolutely.
that's more likely to put him on the streets, I think.
Sure. Yeah. To make he's the captain of the local police precinct then.
Great.
Whatever that is. And actually, I'm going to call him Simon Darling, because Captain Darling just has the wrong ring to it.
Okay. Hang on. He's not related to Diana.
No,
is
he totally can be. He totally should be.
Oh yes.
Oh, I forgot. It's the same name.
No,
please. It's great. I love it. It's her father.
Okay.
Oh
yes.
God, no. Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh well, then let's make him the police commissioner then, because then he's sufficiently senior to have a socialite daughter.
Yes.
So
okay, then he's police commissioner, right? And yes, his view is that people like the alter ego of his daughter are criminals, and should be treated as such. Along with anyone else who is in there, doing a police role without the proper sanction of authority.
Well, I have to ask Diana, does he know about misfortune?
No. Nope.
Of course
not.
No.
Where's the drama?
Exactly. And presumably he has just begun a drive to put vigilantes back in the box they crawled out of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Right. What a cast. We may never get away from New Gauntlet City at this rate.
Chief Darling, you're just trying to hide things. It's really Misfortune's doing the work that you should be doing.
Says the center spread of the Gazetteer. Okay, so someone is in danger. You need to save them. We have a location and someone who's an information broker. We have Professor Breckenridge. And can you just put something down about Simon Darling, the police commissioner? I don't think we'll need much more than that, Brandon, in that bottom cell. Brilliant. Okay, so it's too good a gift not to have us start at Max Diamond's club, the Star. And let's see. Who could we have to illustrate? Ah, yeah, here we go. Is that our Max?
That works for me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Max Diamond at his club. Brilliant. Okay. So, Max, you're at Max's club. I leave it for you to tell me whether you're diving down into the casino or whatever. But let me start by asking Diana. My feeling probably is that you are in your socialite.
Oh yeah, totally. She's
Absolutely.
a regular attendee of the casino/nightclub.
As she is of all the most fashionable clubs in New Orleans City.
I mean, it is the most popular club.
It is the place to see and the place to be seen. What has brought you here, Diana?
Oh, I think it's Tuesday.
I'm always at the Star on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, you know, one, it's like I said, it's the most popular place, but it's also like the place where people they knock a few drinks back, their lips get a bit looser. You know, it's always the good place for picking up information that people probably shouldn't be revealing, but they end up anyway. Especially when they're just like, it's like martini after martini.
Fine. Now I'm conscious, Will, I know you've set up roll for me, but I think that where you're going to be setting up quite big dice pools, it might be simpler to use roll for your party and just clear it every time. So I've just put a link to roll for your party, and I think you can run that on your computer rather than on your phone. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, I was using two different machines. Okay. But yeah, this is much simpler for me. So
okay.
Definitely.
Everyone's rolled some dice for Spark. Diana, would you roll a d6 so we can work out what your starting spark is? Spark is what powers your drive to protect democracy.
Okay, let's see.
Wait, how did people roll 0 for Spark?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Spark starts at
d6 plus 6.
Yeah. So I rolled a 1 and I thought that was bad, but then I see Rosy and Alan Dark have
spotted.
I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just stuck it in there waiting for it because I hadn't rolled yet.
Well, we'll work our way across then. So Diana, that's 9 Spark. Rosy, what about you?
Will, you're muted.
10 Spark total.
10 Spark. And then what about Alan Dark? Oh, who now looks absolutely like a stage magician.
Yes, I've changed my things so as not to poach on the Masked Vigilante business.
Thank you for that. That's
I've decided, because so Mr. Midnight is a stage name, and his speciality is. He dresses in black, and his speciality is now you see it, now you don't. Grand effects right before the audience's eyes.
Before their very eyes.
Yes. And I rolled a 3.
Okay, so you start with 9. So if you can adjust your sparks to match that, that'd be good. Excellent question there from Alexi / Rocky. I'd like to think that you are a team. I'm not sure that you have a name. Maybe we could ask Rosy if the press name these people, or whether it's all very under the hush hush.
Oh, I mean, where do you think Mr. Dark came from? The Gazetteer clearly popularized that name. I think I think in the pulp fashion, we're a loose association rather than a team. You know what I mean? We don't have meetings, but we always invariably seem to overlap with and we've busted heads. We've busted heads together before. Kind of.
Somebody's got to watch these people's back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was going to say that perhaps Rocky is I met Rocky originally just as a mechanic. And then when we ended up with that illegal drag racing in the streets that was powered by nth metal or whatever.
Can I ask, Alan Dark, why are you at the club tonight? Because Diana's here because it's Tuesday. But are you performing at the club, or are you here in a social capacity?
Absolutely, no, absolutely. I am performing at the club.
Okay, so
I'm performing a short. It's a special by special request of one of the guests, who is a high roller at the club. He has importuned the owner to have a brief show. Sometimes they'll have a singer, come in to do a set or something like that, and add a little variety. They've got probably have a little sort of cabaret or cafe area there, away from the noisier gaming tables and such like that. And so now, so I'm the billed performer this evening.
Fine, and I'm presuming that there's a kind of door at the back of the club with a large burly doorman, and it says staff only on the door, and that's where the access to the casino is, downstairs. So you're performing tonight, and that's a happy coincidence for Diana. Sometimes Tuesdays are really quiet, but tonight there's a really great show. Rosie, are you here to see Mr. Midnight on one of his rare stage appearances?
I was going to suggest that I'm here with my good friend Diana Darling, who I have no idea is Misfortune. In fact, I think that Diana Darling is a lovely girl and everything. We went to the same school together and all that, but she just really has no head for anything but upper society and socializing and such things. Not like me and my, the full-on.
Okay, so we have driven professional working girl and apparent empty-headed socialite. Oh, dearie me. Where is that going to go? Okay, and finally, Rocky, what brings you to the Star tonight? Is it again to see Mr. Midnight? Oh, he'll be back soon. We'll worry about.
Can I suggest some? Actually, just to.
No,
I don't think he'll be back. Yeah, sure.
Hold off.
Sure.
When Alexei gets back, because they are dealing with a young baby.
Yeah,
so stuff happens.
I was just going to suggest that Rosie could invite him as because she's worried about going into a mob place, even though Diana Darling doesn't think anything twice about it. So her driver / buddy, whatever. But
we'll touch on that when he's back in the room.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Midnight, the show is going really well. What do you notice that worries you as you survey the audience and you go through your routines, Mr. Midnight?
Well, of course, I'm trying to, I'm primarily focused on the show, but this is such a well-practiced thing that it does allow me to cast an eye. And of course, when I'm performing, people see me only as a performer, which allows me to look at things and they don't they do this often, do the most overt things, within my gaze that they'd never think of doing in front of a witness, because I'm just part of the background scenery when I'm performing. So the worrisome thing there is that a notorious torpedo by the name of Wesley Cobbs, who is from out of town and has no business being here, is chatting with the owner. Is being talked to really by the owner of the casino. And he's nodding, and such, as if and it's clearly he's being given directions.
Okay.
So someone has brought in out of town heat in order to, at the very the very lightest, to threaten someone, and probably actually to to put out a hit on someone.
Okay.
In all likelihood, and that's a problem. It betokens something much larger is going on behind the scenes. Perhaps this is the first blow in a mob war, or it's simply a deniable assassination taking place, which means that it's a very high level target, perhaps in another gang.
We'll play to find out.
Yes.
So, Rocky, all you missed was me asking you why you're at the Star Nightclub tonight.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like Rosy suggested I might be there as a chauffeur/bodyguard to the guest reporter. I'm down with that.
Okay. How comfortable are you in a tuxedo, Rocky?
Oh, extremely uncomfortable. For one thing, I've got one that's clearly like a size or two small, cut too small for him, right? So he's like pulling at the collar constantly, right? He's a big dude, and he does not fit easily, at least as of his evening wear.
So in his borrowed tuxedo, bursting out of his borrowed tuxedo at the table with the elegant Ms. Darling. And Rosy, how do you dress on these occasions? Is this all business or?
No, I think this is the rare, Diana simply won't let me go along in sensible, in, working girl's clothes and like something that you can actually run in. So I've got to go on I had to borrow a dress and a thing, and I'll never look half as good as she does. So I don't even understand why I bother. But...
Dressed like an egg, Rosy.
And I crack eggs and make omelets, Diana. So yes.
Mr. Midnight, was that?
I definitely, at some point, want to call Rosy Strand up to the stage to assist me with an effect, just at random in the audience, of course.
Oh, then let's do that now. Rosy, do you kind of just shrink? Or
need a volunteer here from the audience, a young lady, perhaps.
Was this set up beforehand, Rosy? I don't know.
I don't know. Is it up to you?
I think that's up to Alan, but I'm happy to, if Alan Dark points me out to the spotlight to go on to me, and I'll be like, roll my eyes, and I don't know why I don't you drag me along to these things to Diana, and then I will come up onto the stage, immediately being like, oh, why me? I'm just a poor innocent girl from Alabama.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of nightclub where I could make the remark of innocence now, perhaps, but who knows? I won't, so I shan't. But I am thinking it.
I think it is exactly that kind of nightclub, to be
okay,
honest.
well then I will make that joke for the benefit of the audience. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a polite
she seems all innocent, doesn't she, ladies and gentlemen? But who knows what sophistication may lurk behind the facade, things like that. And anyway, yeah. So I'm going to mesmerize you, not really, but I'm going to peer into your eyes and sit you down in a chair. And I'm going to make you vanish. I'm going to make you disappear.
Yeah, as we come up, I do lean in close and I say, if you make me look like a chicken, I will hunt you down and cut your goddamn head off.
It's so tempting. I say, I whisper back to you.
Yeah.
But no, I'm merely going to make you cease to exist for a short period of time.
Before we get to the trick, Diana and Rocky. Diana, what are you intently watching the show, or are you seeing and being seen?
I'm seeing and being seen. Like I've got my attention, some attention on Mr. Midnight, but I know he's capable. I know who's capable here. I don't need to worry about Rocky.
And what about you, Rocky? Are you looking about you, or are you focused on Rosy and the show?
Well, here's the thing. I have to watch her back, but it seems like we're here because there's someone in danger, we need to find out who. So yeah, I'm probably scanning the casino, seeing if I can pick up any leads to help with this story for Rosie.
As you look around, well, let's engage with a mechanic just to try out
Yes,
the.
please.
I do have a
system.
question. Are we in the nightclub area or the casino?
I
area?
think you're in the nightclub area
Okay.
at this point, because that's where the floor show would be, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think this is perception, probably. So I think this is using head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to see being awesome here, but correct me.
Being normal is fine by me.
Fine. So you are being normal. That gives you 3 dice. Your head, which is where perception sits in this game, is another 2. So you're rolling 5d6. And I think that this is going to be a relatively low-level challenge at this point. I think that you are looking for 2 successes, i.e., 2 that come up 4, 5, or 6.
All right, let's give this a go. I'm gonna roll 5 dice here, and I got 4 successes. So that's plenty.
And look, this is not in Hit the Streets, but whenever people roll a 6, there has to be some benefit to it, doesn't there? So not only do you succeed, but you succeed really well. So I'm going to tell you that there's someone who's really out of place here. It's a middle-aged man. He's looking very uncomfortable. He looks like he doesn't know why he's here. He's sat alone on a table over on the side. Not a very good table, kind of out of the spotlight. If you hadn't been looking around, he'd just been part of the furniture. But he's looking very kind of as though he's expecting someone and no one's turned up. Given you rolled a 6, what additional benefit do you want?
Oh wow. Can I, like, recall from some newspaper article I glimpsed in the past this guy's name, right? Like I recognize his picture, not from meeting him, but from seeing him in something before. That
works beautifully because you are an inventor. You're always interested in, the science pages in the better newspapers, or I don't know when they started publishing science, but maybe the era-appropriate science magazine had him on the front. This is Professor Klaus Haas, recently arrived, emigre from Germany, left to avoid the Nazis, and he's, you remember, well, you tell me, what's his field of study?
Ballistics. Okay.
So he is a military scientist. And yeah, he looks very fish out of water over there. He has a drink of water in front of him that he hasn't touched. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of, sidle up to Diana and do the head jerk that way thing and say, I recognize that fellow from the papers. What was the name? Klaus Hans?
Haas. H-A-A-S.
Oh. Klaus Haas just arrived from Germany, on the run from what's going on over there, but he sure looks uncomfortable here. Possibly he's why we've been hearing those rumors of something strange afoot.
Strange? What are you talking about, Rocky? Strange.
I I mean,
he's clearly uncomfortable because look at what he's wearing. He's just clearly not suited for this level of society.
Again, Rocky pulling at his own, too tight collar here. He's like, maybe we could get some kind of information from him, if we turn on the charm,
What?
I mean, this is a good point to question this. I'm curious. Does anybody in this team know that you are a Masked Vigilante Misfortune? Or...
I go with Mr. Midnight, yeah.
Okay. So so yeah, is this the kind of thing you expect Rocky to be talking to you about, Diana?
No, that's why I'm putting on the act. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, is this a Rosy thing, Rocky? She's up on stage.
Yeah, that's why we need to take care of, a little information gathering while we're here. I'm not so good at talking to people in places like this. You got to help me out.
I mean, what would I even have to talk with him about? This Rocky, I appreciate how much that you're looking out for Rosy, but we should just wait so that she can, help you out.
Your dad's on the force. This guy does ballistics. Could talk to him about.
I don't talk to my.
Stuff.
I don't meddle in my dad's work. I'm sorry. If you'll excuse me, I need to go powder my nose.
Great. So Rocky upset as Diana wafts away. I take it.
Yep.
Meanwhile, on stage, what's going on stage then, Mr. Midnight?
Well, as I'm preparing, as I'm talking to the audience, and I'm preparing Miss Rosy for the effect that we're going to do, I whisper to her about Mr. Cobb, the torpedo, and his conversation, because I know that she has that this is the sort of thing that she should know, and can perhaps unobtrusively investigate while things are going on. And then, you will not believe your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, with the help of this young lady, I will defy all the known laws of time and space right here before your very eyes. And the act, she is seated in a chair, which is shown to be solid, by every means, and that there's nothing underneath, nothing underneath the chair. There's nothing behind it. There's no stage trickery at all. I whip a cloth over it, and it is tied lightly down, and then come forward to the audience and say, remember this, for always. This is something that you can tell your children and your grandchildren, about the fact that your eyes, those reliable things which you depend upon so many days, took their leave of you one day and told you something which was not true. And I whipped the thing off, and she's gone.
Well, let's see the effect that has on the audience. There is no question that she's going to be gone, but I want to engage again with the mechanic. I think you are being the mesmerist here, unless I got that
absolutely
wrong.
Yes.
So you are also being the hustler, I think, because the patter. Yeah. So you're rolling 1 dice for hustler, you're rolling 3 for being awesome, and you get to roll 2 extra dice because you are being the mesmerist. So you're rolling 6d6.
Okay.
I think that this isn't a routine, otherwise it wouldn't be challenging. I think that you are looking for 3 successes.
Is this do I use a stat?
Sorry, yes, you use jaw, I think. Yeah, beg your pardon. So that's 6,
that is
7,
3,
8.
6, 7, 9, 9d6 actually.
I could have made it more difficult with that many.
You could have. All right, but even if you had it made more difficult, I rolled 4 6s.
I mean, how can this? So
with 7 altogether successes, yes.
The audience is rapt.
Right. This is all the fact that the audience is close to the stage and they surround it on 3 sides. So there's not even, and there's no backstage. There's just this little scrim behind her, that's that up on posts.
Now, I will come back to the trick in a moment. The audience, every pair of eyes in the audience is on the stage. Diana, am I right in supposing that as we cut to the ladies' room, what do we see happening?
As they cut to the ladies' room, there's just the shot of like a stocking-clad ankle exiting like a window. And there's like the trail of a cape.
Fine. And I think that's lovely because we don't get to see misfortune on screen until it matters. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Rosie, where do you actually end up?
Oh, I mean, it's clearly backstage somewhere, right? Like perhaps in like a service tunnel that goes through the back and would allow me to go around and then come back out through the rear of the club room. If, of course, I was just your average, but I'm going to get lost down here. And I think while I was on stage and, Mr. Midnight pointed out the torpedo, perhaps my eyes went across to Rocky and seeing him literally point towards Dr. Klaus in the audience, like, and me roll my eyes up on stage, like I told him to be subtle. But okay, I'd like to try and like bump into some of the staff down here and just ask, like, like, oh, I'm sorry, I've lost my way, but I'm looking for my party. It's a German fellow. You know him?
This sounds like an exercise in jaw.
Yeah.
I would count this as being the ace reporter because this is questioning the public. If you want to make this awesome, the only disadvantage of making it awesome, folks, is that if you do get a 1 when you're being awesome, it will cost you spark. Yeah, you can't lose spark when you're being normal.
Mm-hmm.
So Rosie,
yeah, I'm just thinking I'm running into a bit, because if it was a B normal, I have 3 dice. If it's B awesome, then I get to add 2d6, correct? Which is essentially the same. Yeah. You know what? I'll go with it. I'll just run with it. Why not? I'll stop thinking. I'll stop overthinking the mechanics and
yeah, I would. It's not a set of mechanics that benefits from a great deal of overthinking.
No, I'm sorry.
So go ahead, Rosie. Roll those dice.
Cool. 2d6.
I think this is being fairly daredevilish, by the way.
Oh, so I get an extra 2 dice on that?
You get an extra 1 dice.
1 dice. Okay. And so that's 3, 2, 3, 1, total of 7 dice, I think.
Yeah.
Is there a thing where you can spend extra spark to add boosts?
You can spend spark on a 1-to-1 basis to add dice.
Yeah. And this will cost me 1 dice to begin with, right? One spark to begin with, sorry, to activate my ice reporter. No, so this doesn't cost me any spark unless I roll a 1, in which case it goes. Okay, that's good to know. I will, you know what, I will spend a spark just to get that mechanic going and hope I don't get any ones. I do get 1-1, 1-6, 1-5, 1-4, so 3
successes.
3 above.
I should have said all I was looking for was 3, so you do succeed. You rolled a 6, so you get a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And the staff are engaged. They'll give you an answer. What benefit do you want?
The benefit I would want is I'd like a bit about the German and a bit about the torpedo. Like to the 2 people.
Yeah, fine. Well, I think I can tell you something about the German. I'm not sure I can tell you much about the torpedo. What they will tell you,
perhaps in sense, when I say about the torpedo, I mean more along the lines of like Max Diamonds, like what the staff have been told about don't bother the outside mob, or you know what I mean, like vague stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I will certainly tell you about the German, that it was a table booked for 3. Mm-hmm. And whenever someone tries to sell him a drink, he says, "No, I will wait for my guests or the other people that I'm here with, if that's okay." Mm-hmm. Is okay to use in here. Yes, that is okay. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. And they will tell you that the staff never inquire about Mr. Diamond's guests. Mm. Okay.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I thank them, and I let them bum a cigarette off me, and on my way back,
I'll come to you in a moment.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So, Mr. Midnight, you rolled a handful of 6s earlier on, yes, and I didn't ask you about any particular benefit. So, is there a benefit that you want, having had the trick go off perfectly?
The benefit is I think, is that no one is paying attention to anything that my friends are doing.
Fine.
All
the attention is on you.
That's right. It is the attention is riveted here, especially until Miss Strand makes her reappearance at the hands of my lovely assistant Myra, who she will at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, anything that people were thinking about, it interrupts conversations, and completely grabs the attention. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I think that's a big enough.
That's
benefit.
that's a big enough benefit, right?
Everyone is looking at you,
right.
And people are on their feet. They're cheering. That was how could you do that in front of her? People talking to one another about this. It's just phenomenal. And then, as if by magic, the lights go out, and a single spotlight is on Mr. Midnight. And when the lights come back up, Rocky, Professor Haas is gone. Let's take a break at that point. It's an appropriate cliffhanger, I think. It's 6 minutes past. Should we be back in our seats at 1/4 the hour? Is that okay? I will see you at 1/4 the hour. Okay, we're back after our break. And we left on a cliffhanger. Mr. Midnight pulled off the trick of the century before everyone's eyes. The lights went out. The spot came on to Midnight. And then when the lights came up again, Professor Haas is gone. Let me ask Miss Fortune, because I think that's the guys that we will next see down at Darling Inn. What do we won't see her, but we will see her perspective. What do we see her looking at? What's her field of view looking like?
I don't know.
Where is she?
I'm gonna say she's probably like down, like looking through, like, oh yeah, it's like looking through like the air, the ventilation, the vents from the ventilation shaft, like the grating. That's what it's called, of a ventilation shaft. Or the air ducts, looking down as like the lights go up, and then she's like constant, because like she knows what happens here, so she's like concentrating on the casino side.
Okay, and let me go to Rosy. Rosy, I think this is the point at which you come back in, having kind of gone out round through the kitchens and come in through the kitchen entrance.
I think Mr. Midnight's Girl Friday perhaps finally finds me and is like, come on, like, and then that's when the lights go out, and then the spotlight. When it comes back on, like the spotlight comes straight onto Rosy as she's sat back at her table.
Yes.
And looking. But the thing is that from Rosy's perspective, she came in hoping to sit down at Herr Klaus's table, and as she came in, it was like he's gone. So she sat down there looking like, where's that? Rocky probably jumps out of his seat.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. But I'm assuming Mr. Midnight is the light came on you, and then the spotlight came on Rosy. Rocky, when the lights come up, Professor Haas is gone. What does Rocky do? Because he's the only person who might have, if everyone hadn't stood up, he might have seen what had happened. But then the lights went out.
I mean, I just it seems like this guy's a lead, right? So I got to find him. I'm gonna just start kind of like racing around the edges of this place, seeing if I can spot where he's gone.
This sounds like perception, so that sounds like it's building on head.
Yeah. I'm
not seeing the bruiser. I'm not seeing the awesome inventor. I'm seeing normal head.
That's fine. I'll roll 5. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty, I think, is only 3.
Okay. And am I? Can I spend spark for extra dice? Is that how that works?
1 to 1. And
do I do that before or after I roll?
Before.
Okay. Yeah, I'll I'll spend a spark here just to try and make sure he doesn't I don't lose track of this guy, right?
6 dice.
Only one success.
Only one success, but no, you know, what can I tell you? So your first kind of sign is check the exits. No sign at the exits. Mr. Midnight, the lights come up. You see Rocky kind of looking round, and it becomes instantly apparent to you that Professor Haas is no longer at that table. What do you do, Mr. Midnight? The show's over. You know, that will have been the climax of the show.
Yeah. I'll just say I'll probably shamefacedly regroup with Rosy when I can't find the professor.
Rosy harangues.
Well, hang on.
How could you let him out of your sight?
Hang on. Mr. Midnight first.
Mr. Midnight. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, he disappeared in a very short period of time. Where could he have gone? There's likely only one or two ways that he could have gotten out of there during the moments of darkness. I'm a magician without bumping into people or causing noise. What are they?
I think this is playing the awesome Stage Mesmerist card.
Absolutely.
So we start with 2d6 for using your mesmerism. I think that you are therefore being awesome. So you've got another 3 for that. And I think that this is probably again head for perception.
Right.
I'm not seeing the hustler this time.
Nope, don't think
but
so.
You can, of course, spend spark to increase the number. So I think you're dealing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dice already.
I think 8 will do.
Difficulty, I think, is 4.
Okay, well then 8 won't do. I'll spend 2.
Ooh, 10 dice.
Before you roll, do you want me to clear the room? Oh, never mind. Yours are the blue ones.
Yes. 7 successes, 2 6s among them.
So success with a benefit, but there is a 1 in there, and you were being awesome. So that costs you an oof of spark. I think perhaps the oof is, I should have realized, obviously, that booth must rotate into some other space. Nothing else could be quick enough.
Right. Okay. So yeah,
what benefit do you want, as well as that answer?
Okay. The benefit I want is a chance to send someone to head them off. It's like, okay, it rotated into another space. I know the layout of this place because I checked it out before doing my act.
It's behind the staff-only door that leads to the casino. Now, Rosy, what do you be doing?
I mean, I'm just haranguing Rocky about how he could possibly have let Mr. Klaus out of his sight. That's why I brought you along, you big lug. What's going on?
I'm going to step off the stage and shake people's hands and things like that, and come up and thank Rosy.
Hang on. I want to expand on why Rosy's doing this. Are you trying to refresh some spark here by engaging with Rocky?
Yeah, why not? That's a nice. I hadn't thought about it that way, but why not? So I spent 1 spark. It would always be nice to have more.
But I therefore, if during the course of the episode you go out of your way to do something nice for an ordinary person, it doesn't sound like you were doing that unless you want to change the spin.
I'm not an ordinary person. I mean, I got my feet planted on the ground, but I'm still a part of this this crew.
Yeah.
If during the course of an episode you make time to get to know another member of the team, ask them a question about themselves that they are prepared to answer honestly.
Yeah. A question about a routine question about their normal life. What I'll say is, your wife, what does your wife think about this sort of absent-mindedness, Rocky? I mean, an eye for women always appreciate an eye for detail.
Look, I can keep my eye on things when it counts, and Molly supports that. I can't be mad at you, Rosie.
Well, no,
But-
because you let me down.
Okay, I think you should take the spark before you turn this into bully, abuse, and shame.
Oh, yes.
Different game. Different
Yeah.
game. So take the point of spark for getting a straight answer to that.
Mhm.
Now, Misfortune, you were looking through a ventilation grill down into the casino. Yeah. I tell you what's beginning to shape up is the casino is upstairs because that puts you on a roof. And I kind of feel that Misfortune ought to be on a roof at some point. So you are looking in through, I guess a small window, grimy. Nobody really knows it's there, looking down into the casino above the club. What do you think you see, or what are you looking for?
So I think actually like the casino has been like closed for a private event. Which like normally there's a lot of people in there gambling. It's pretty empty. And obviously I feel like the torpedo that we had mentioned is pushing in this professor.
Okay, let me go further than that. Then let's see what you let's engage with some mechanics for Miss Midnight, for Miss Darling, and Misfortune. Apologies. I think Masked Vigilantes are good at this kind of thing, so I think you have the option to be awesome if you want to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
rolling,
yeah, it's why wouldn't I be?
exactly. You're rolling 3d6 for being awesome. You get an extra 2 because it fits with being a Masked Vigilante. I think it is head, it's perception of what you make of what you see down there. Yeah. So I think you're currently on
Wait, so
6.
what am I rolling to determine?
Okay. I think I want to determine how quickly you take in what's happening. If this goes well, you might be able to.
Because my plan was just like once I see the person, I'd do the classic jump through the skylight entrance.
Okay, then let's
like-
do that with feet then. Let's see how that goes.
Would that be feet or heart? Because I'm protecting an innocent.
Um,
That's like the heart is confusing because it says fighting common criminals, protecting people.
yeah.
Like there's multiple stats that deal with fighting.
Yeah, I'll give you heart because you've chosen heart for that reason. So I think you are being a friend. You are using heart, so you're at 4D already. You are being awesome. That's 7D, and the Masked Vigilante applies. So you got nine dice going at the minute. You want to spend any spark?
Nah.
Difficulty. I mean, this sounds to me this ought to be quite tough. To go through the skylight, land on a 3-point and still be able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to make the difficulty 5.
Oh, 9, 5, eh? And 6s just get a bonus. They're not like a double.
No, sadly not.
All right. I'll spend. Why not? Let's go. I'll spend a spark.
Which I think gives you what, 10 dice?
Yeah.
Roll them bonus.
Let me clear these dice first. Let's see. 10d6. Submit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Oof.
And a 6. So and an oof. So let me come to the oof. So you describe it. It worked. What do we see happen?
So the oof is losing a spark, right? I'm gonna just get with that out of the way. So yeah, like I do the feet first, crash through the window, like the guns blazing type thing is like I land on the table that they were like standing around and crashing through it. As I do like the dramatic, like the hair flip. She's got the big oversized hat, of course, and the domino mask. It's like looks like misfortune struck you tonight.
And I think that if you want to, you can land on the table. The benefit I'm offering is that you get a punch in on the Wesley Cobb, the out-of-town torpedo.
Totally.
Fine. And so he
sock him
stumbles
right in the kisser.
stumbles away from the group around the professor. This is as it spins round. And my question is, do you want to concentrate on the other goons, or do you want to concentrate on the professor?
I want to protect the professor.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute. Meanwhile, Mr. Midnight, you've gone over to the table to congratulate Rosy, but there's no sign of Professor Haas. What do you do, Mr. Midnight?
Yes, well, I tell Rosy where he's gone. You know, in sotto voce while I'm smiling. He says he's in the private area. He's in the private area of the casino. Has to be.
I've just realized that mechanically now I have to have a spinning table that hits an elevator that elevates that up to the first floor. So it's getting more bizarre by the moment.
More pulpy by the second.
More pulpy by the
Mapping
second.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's, you know, really, of course it works.
And so,
if Mr. Midnight indicates there's, you know, such a contraption here, Rocky will definitely start, you know, poking at it and seeing if he can make it work.
I think we all move our table over to that booth that's now empty.
Okay.
You know, casually,
Yes.
and sit down, and then Rocky disappears beneath the table to start fiddling with the mechanics.
I suppose I need to know whether this is instant, or are you gonna kind of mosey on over? Because I have a scene running upstairs that I'm trying to keep.
Well,
track of.
time is fleeting.
Oh,
Time is of the essence.
Pace, yeah.
Crisp
Yeah.
pace, fine.
Yeah.
So pick up your glasses, grab the table. Rocky, this sounds like classic pulp inventor territory for me. How does this thing work?
I'm gonna find out, right? Like Rocky's like mutter, like it's the same sort of mutterings you'd hear if he was, you know, on like one of those little slidey things and under a car, you know, like messing with the undercarriage.
He's hot wiring a table.
Yeah. So you know, he's like, it connects up to an elevator. This is needlessly complicated, I gotta say. But I think I can make this work for us.
So let's see if you can make it work for them. So I think this is being awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does fit with the inventor. So that's 3 dice to start with. I think it is using your head, unless you tell me not. So I think we're at 5.
Could it be tools?
Oh, tools. Oh, yes. Tools, not head.
Yeah.
So I've you know, pulled from like the hidden. Honestly, like there's like a moment where like the like tuxedo jacket flies out from under the table, and so like, you know, now Rocky's like pulled out of his cummerbund the you know, little like, you know, screwdrivers and whatever he's using
Monkey wrench.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so
I have an image of him having a shoulder holster, but instead of a gun, there's a little set of tools.
Oh yeah, shoulder holster, but it's full of you know, workman's tools. Yeah.
No wonder that tuxedo wouldn't close. So I think then I think you're at, I've lost track. You are being awesome 1. You are using tools 4. This is inventing, so I think this is 6. Do you want to spend any spark?
What difficulty?
I think the difficulty is only going to be 4. To make this work in a hurry. If you fail, it just might take a while.
Yeah. That's, I got to make it work in a hurry, of course.
Other people can spend spark to help you.
Oh, that's nice. And because we're being awesome here, I lose spark on 1s also.
You do.
Right.
So Rosy, I'm curious, is there anything you can imagine doing to help?
I mean,
justify a spend.
I pass him a hairpin from my.
It's like, I need something smaller here.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like,
1
thanks,
spark
Rosy.
or more than 1 spark?
How much? What's your dice pool at the moment, Alexi?
6. I'm at 6 right now.
And your difficulty you're facing is
4. 4.
4. I will spend 2 spark.
Oh,
There we
wow,
go.
how generous. So that's 8 dice so far. Mr. Midnight, is there anything you can justifiably help Rocky with? Let's assume not. So that's 8 dice, Rocky, plus anything you want to spend.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop one more spark in there. Just he's
Well, I could spend a spark for you.
Yeah, sadly you're not there.
I've got.
Well, it's cool though.
I got to make it up. I've got
Guns
to make
blazing,
it up.
A
To,
ricochet hits a bullet that triggers the elevator.
No, I tell you what. Yes, Misfortune, you can spend spark to support, because of course you're occupying them upstairs, buying them time.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that at the start? How many do you want to spend, Misfortune?
1.
Right.
Okay, we're at 10.
Brings me up to 10. Let's do this. Rolling 10 red dice here. I needed it because that's 4 successes, including 1 6.
Okay,
but only 4 successes.
Okay, there is a 1 in the roll, so you take an oof of spark. So what's costing you here, Rocky?
And it's not an oof for everyone.
No, just for you.
But it's not an oof for every one that I roll.
Oh no, I think that's too harsh.
It would be too harsh because I rolled 4 1s here. Yeah, I think it's just that like he's sweating here, right? He's like he's got to do this fast. He likes to take his time with these things, right? Like his car is lovingly maintained, but here he's got to cut some corners and do something quick, right? It's probably going to mess up the mechanism once it gets used, which he doesn't like to do, but duty calls.
Okay, and you will get a benefit. So I think what we see is, of course, the club has gone back to just running as normal now, and someone's bringing a tray of drinks up to the table, or to take an order for more drinks, and suddenly it spins round 180 degrees. You find yourself pushed into the wall, and then whoosh, up you go. Misfortune, what do you do when your table begins to spin and disappear into the wall?
I mean, it's all part of the action. This is how I'm helping Cobb, right? No, not Cobb. Professor.
Yeah.
Professor Klaus escape.
Fine.
I was like, wait, up, aha.
This was all according to plan.
Yep.
And so what I think we will see is in this shaft are 3 heroes being propelled up, while 1 hero and Professor Haas is propelled down. Is there anything you can do as these go past one another? Let's go to Mr. Midnight first.
I was thinking actually that I'm not on the propulsion thing, because for them to do the vanishing trick without darkness, the benefit of darkness, they'll need a misdirection.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So while I bundled them over to the table, and then I stood to one side, and I'm keeping up a running pattern and looking out of the corner of my eye. And when I see the thing begin to happen, and then I clap my hands, and make something appear in my fingertips, just as a little, while I'm signing in between signing programs and things like that. So no one notices.
Fine. No,
that they suddenly vanish.
I'm not going to make you roll for that because it's too cool not to be true. So that leaves Rocky and Rosy going up to the casino. Let me ask Rocky, as you're going up and you can see in this shaft another one coming down, and just as you come level, there's a kind of misfortune.
Yeah.
What do you do in that moment, Rocky?
Well, here's my question, Joe. Is it cool with you if Rocky's starting to put the pieces together?
No.
Not yet.
Not this early, at least.
He looks puzzled about Misfortune with the prof.
Like Rocky and Misfortune have worked together,
yes.
Clearly. It's part of the team thing. So.
And she's everywhere. I mean, she's just, whenever where there is crime, there's misfortune. I mean, she
okay. So it's thank goodness it's Misfortune.
So do you do anything, Rocky? Or?
We'll meet you out back. Right, just set a rendezvous point, right? Because we want to find out, more of what's going on. But we're we're speeding in opposite directions here.
Rosie's holding on to her the very fine jewelry that Diana Darling gave her.
It was lent.
As we rocket out into the casino area, I thump Rocky in the arm and I go like, I thought you could break that thing, for God's sake. Why don't we? Now we're up here and they're down there. And then looks around and probably sees a bunch of goons or something.
I suddenly realized I couldn't think of a way that this elevator would work without it going in, having two tables. But, why I'm worried about that, I don't know, but I was. Misfortune arrives, still in her 3-point superhero pose on the table, with Professor Haas looking like that. And that's when Mr. Midnight's misdirection stops. But of course, people then say, it's Misfortune. What do you do, Misfortune?
Well, I think I give a look to Mr. Midnight, and I'm like, it's like the unspoken thing, like we need to meet out back to we need to get out back to the Roadster.
That's good, because every hoodlum that belongs to Max Diamond thinks you're there for them. Mm-hmm. So, you can see hands going inside tuxedos and, 45s emerging. So, Misfortune, you need to get the professor out of here fast.
Okay.
What do we see you doing? And then we'll determine how that plays in the dice.
I think it's like the escort mission where like I grab the professor and I'm like leading and rushing him along and, kicking over some tables to for cover to fire back. Because, as you said, there are criminals that are going to be shooting at me, and there's a lot of innocent people in this nightclub. So I'm like, I cannot risk this too much. Oh wait, I got an idea. I gotta shoot a grapple gun towards the chandelier to swing across.
Because you have tools, don't you? You have vigilante tools.
Well, yeah. I forgot I have a tools stat.
Before I get to the mechanic, I'm curious, Mr. Midnight, are you going to help Misfortune do this?
Absolutely, in a completely deniable and surreptitious way.
Okay, so you don't want to leave with her. You just want to help her.
I'm going to help her and then make my excuses and rendezvous out back.
Fine. Okay.
Yes. No. I just did that. Someone with a bead on her trips.
Okay. Let's run it like this then. The difficulty for this would be 5 successes, I think, to do this with a confused professor under your arm, Misfortune. But I think if Mr. Midnight can pull off some kind of act of prestidigitation, it will reduce the difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So let's start.
And I
with
think,
Mr. Midnight.
like as a retcon, as we were passing on the elevator, I shout to them, "Meet us back at the secret location that we reconnoiter at."
I kind of assumed it would be my roadsters parked in the alley.
Well, yeah, but just for a nice change, I don't know.
Okay.
But that's still very close to the danger.
It is fine. So Mr. Midnight, let's see if you can kind of go Shazam. I think difficulty is, say, 3.
All right. So this is a hustle.
It is.
I'm being awesome. So that's 4. Presumably this is a jaw. That's 7, and I'm a mesmerist is 9, and I shan't add anything to it.
Okay, roll the dice.
Okay, and oops, it's a little confusing.
But it still works.
Yes, albeit it is with a pile of oofs.
Well, only 1 oof.
Oh, okay, only 1 oof.
Costs
That's
you
good.
some spark.
Okay.
Because I think what happens is that instead of those guns training towards the flying Misfortune, there's this kind of whoosh, and they all focus on you, which is a little bit kind of a shock. So cost you a spark, but yes, all of those successes with a benefit. The benefit is that no one fires at you, can I suggest?
Yes, that'd be nice.
Okay. But Misfortune, that difficulty has now dropped by 1 to 4. What does this dice pool look like?
All right. So using tools, being awesome. Check.
Yeah.
Masked Vigilante stuff. Trigger.
I think so. And also, I think heart plays here. I think you are being the professor's friend, trying to protect
Right.
you.
So it's only one stat that you roll, right?
It's only one stat, yeah.
Yeah. So heart and tools are the same thing. So I guess that balances out. So that's 3, 6.
But you get your archetype. I
Sorry,
think.
I meant you got your friend, because I think it
okay.
is to do with doing the right thing.
So the archetype gives you
One
a
dice
1
for friend,
Oh, okay.
3 for being awesome, 3
So
for
3,
tools.
6, 9 total.
Exactly.
And I'll spend a spark.
Just to get a nice round 10.
Yep.
Go for it.
And I'm looking for how many?
You're looking for 4, just 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No oofs.
And no oofs. And one of them is a success. So so we see, well, you tell me, how does this look? We know
So
what
yeah,
you're
like
intending.
shooting the grapple gun, connect to the chandelier as it's swung across. Of course, the chandelier, they're chasing after, and the chandelier comes down, crashing behind me, pinning a bunch of them down as I like make the way through the kitchen, out to the back.
Into the roadster.
Yeah, get to the roadster.
And yeah, I think that the advantage, because of the crashing chandelier, is there is no immediate pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you do see, as you speed away, 2 people kind of seem to have been in the alley, about to go round to the front of the club, and they seem to register the professor and shout, "Father!" I'll come back to you in a moment. So Rocky and Rosie, you're upstairs. There's our out of town torpedo is kind of reaching into his violin case, and there are a couple of other goons about. So what do we see Rocky do as you kind of are propelled up into the casino?
Yeah, I'm here to be a bodyguard and back up to Rosie, and now I've pulled her into this room full of toughs, so I gotta take care of that. I charge forward and I slam my fist down on the violin case, hoping to just break the torpedo's hand before he can pull out whatever weapon he's trying to get at it in there.
Okay, so I think that you are definitely being a bruiser.
Oh yeah.
I think it's difficult to link this to inventiveness, so I'm going to say you are being normal.
All right.
And I think that this is definitely hands.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So to start with, that's I get just 1 dice for bruiser.
Yeah, sadly yes. And I think the difficulty here, because you're outnumbered, I think you've got several goons and the torpedo. So I think I'm going to make the difficulty 4.
Okay.
4 successes.
I'm rolling 7 dice to start with.
You are. But I am going to ask Rosie if there's anything she thinks that she could spend spark on to make this simple for you.
I mean, you're running forward to help out fighting, to fight them off, right? In classic damsel in distress, but not really style, it's going to be tripping people up, screaming and like just playing it up to be kind of a mess, interfere with whatever they're doing. Anybody who tries to come past.
Bump into people.
Okay.
Yeah. Spend a spark or 2. I don't know. You tell me.
I'm going to spend 2.
So you have 2 more spark, Rocky. So I think that gets you to 9 dice.
Which is me up to 9. I'll go ahead and roll it.
Difficulty is 4.
So
where did the dice go? Oh no. 3 6s, but not 4 successes.
Oh, so close.
So does that mean I get a benefit but don't succeed?
That's a very. I have to say that's a rule modification I haven't thought through. I think not. I think what this means is that you don't manage to stop the torpedo opening his violin case. You don't take any oof because you weren't being awesome. This is just normal for you.
That's true. This is just normal.
Just thumping people. But I think that now he has got his machine gun, And I will go to Rosie and say, what do you do next, Rosie?
Chicago typewriter.
I say, oh, well, Mr. Cobb, I didn't expect to see you in Gauntlet City here and your famous typewriter. I must show you mine one day. Rosy Strand, the Gazetteer. You care to make a comment?
So what are you wanting to get out of this, Rosie? What would success look like if this goes well?
What I'm getting out of is I am just trying to play this off as we just sat down on that table and then all this happened. You know, like, but it's just so interesting to see you're here in organized crime in Mr. Diamond's respectable establishment. This could be very embarrassing, right? No one wants gunfire in a casino.
Okay, I think that what success would look like is that certainly the goons will run for it because they don't want their faces in the newspaper. If this gets really good, this success, then I think Cobb may take the hint as well. Does that seem fair?
That seems fair, yeah.
Okay, so
does Rosie have a camera with? Like, is she trying to record people's faces, or no? It's just people are worried about the press turning up.
I think worried about the press turning up and this getting in the newspapers. Such is the power of the yellow press at this time. So Rosie, I think this is very daredevil-y. There's a guy with a machine gun, and you're saying, here's my press card. I think that you are being the ace reporter, so I think you can be awesome. You get 2 for the ace reporter, and I think this is jaw for another 3.
Okay.
7 dice.
Daredevil?
I've put the Daredevil in.
Okay, 7 dice so far.
I think success, you know, Wesley Cobb is no pussy, so I think this is 4 successes.
I will burn another spark.
Okay. 8 dice.
Oops, I lowered myself to 1 spark rather than, taking 1 off the top.
Such is the excitement in the audience. Oh my God, you were being awesome. And of course, no one gets shot in this game. But how do you take that oof?
Well, I think what it is the guys, the thugs and stuff are like, they turn to to Cobb, the torpedo, and he just brings up the Chicago typewriter, and I kick the table over and grab Rocky and dive down, and then it's like glass, and now I'm all, the dress is ruined.
Oh no, the dress is ruined. That's a real oof.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're down behind the table. Let me cut to Mr. Midnight, still downstairs with Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune has made her swinging exit.
She has made her escape, and so that's well accomplished.
Mr. Midnight, you will hear, of course, you're attuned to this kind of thing. You hear the sound of machine gun fire from upstairs. What do you do?
That's a tough one to intervene in. I'm just going to have to hope that they can hit the trigger and get back down again.
Yeah, I mean, given that though Mr. Midnight doesn't know, we, the audience, know that they are still huddled around the table.
That's right. I'm going to hope, that they are still there, and I'm going to hit the switch. That activates the elevator.
Okay, so I'm going to make you roll for this because it could matter whether Wesley gets another action in before we take our break. But I think, Mr. Midnight, I think that I'm not seeing Mesmerist or Hustler here. So
no.
I think this is being normal. You get 1 dice. And I think it is probably, well, you tell me, is this, I think it's head or is it
head?
heart?
This is quick thinking.
Okay, so 4 dice. Difficulty is only 2 because you saw them do this. So it should be easy.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in a spark anyway because there's a lot on the line.
Okay, so I think that is 3, 4,
5.
5 dice, looking for 3 successes.
Yes.
And just as the machine gun comes back down and, you know, he's lining up on the table, knowing those 45 slugs will just make matchwood of the table, flip, whoosh. And up appears, we see the look on Wesley's face as you just disappear into the wall and then out comes an empty table. Whereas meanwhile, downstairs, flip, whoosh, there you are in the club.
Yeah, the empty table, right? But the empty table appears and is stitched with 45 slugs. I mean,
Exactly.
It's just lacerated.
Exactly. And I think that any of the gangsters in the place have run out in search of Misfortune. They were delayed long enough for her to get away, but that leaves all of you an opportunity for a swift exit. And I think we will take a 5-minute break now, back on the hour, and we will cut to wherever you normally meet. So give some thought to that. I will pause the recording. Okay, so we're back after our last break. And I think that probably Misfortune is the only person likely to have what might be loosely described as a lair. So Misfortune,
hideout. Lairs are for villains.
Sorry, you're quite right. A hideout. Thank you for that point of accuracy. Where is your hideout, Misfortune, that you've sped to in your roadster?
Like, I don't have a good name for it, so if people have like an idea for a name, but it's got like one of those like, I want to say it's probably like warehouse districty. Like, it's got to like have like one of those like garages that like the car can pull right in. It's not like super
the
ostentatious.
south side of Gauntlet City, I would suggest.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Somewhere down near the there's a, oh yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's gone.
Yeah,
but
mapping, not my strong suit.
No,
so.
no. Somewhere in the south side, in a warehouse district. Tell me, you know, do the doors automatically open? Is there a kind of goes underneath, or you know what?
Oh yeah, it's like recalling sort of like that the mechanic episode of BTS. It's like one of those things that sort of goes down and like I forget what they're called, but like they're sort of like the drainage canal type things.
Oh
that, like
yeah,
you see in Terminator 2.
Yeah,
like you drive down into one of those and it goes through like one of those tunnels, but like other people know how to like get to the building above easier.
Aqueduct.
I think, yeah, maybe.
Or storm sewer kind of thing.
Yeah, they're for flood protection, aren't they?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I know exactly what you mean. Large concrete troughs and then a tunnel off.
Yeah, like
brilliant.
People have chase scenes in the movies. I know that.
That's
much.
the only reason they exist, I think, in LA.
Yeah.
And for lava to flow down. So that's where we pick up then.
I guess, I mean, you said I heard someone shout "father."
You did. But I would much prefer that you didn't stop.
Okay, all right.
Because that's just the kind of thing that the enemies of democracy cry in order to stop masked vigilantes in their tracks.
Clearly, the streets were being filled with mobsters as well as you sped away. Yeah,
indeed. Let's have Rosy, Rocky, and Mr. Midnight in his Alan Dark. You know, now he's off stage. I guess he's Alan, is he? I don't know. How does this play?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm what am I? What is Mr. Dark? He is private investigator's too close to the thing. He's a consultant, I think.
Yeah.
You know, right? He is he's a tracer of lost persons kind of person. He's the fellow you go to, you know, when you know, in order to find somebody who's named in a will and you can't locate them or things like that. So he's
okay. So Alan and Rosy and Rocky.
So he's like a private eye, but not the gritty sort of above board, respectable.
So Rosy and Alan and Rocky, you arrive. I don't know, Rocky, did you come in your cherry red pickup?
Obviously.
Of course. So the cherry red, we'll see the roadster disappear down these concrete storm kind of canals and then veer into one of the tunnels, and there has to be some kind of zzzt, you know, zzzt. And I guess, Rocky, you drive in the same way. You know, this is how you get to the hideout, Misfortune's hideout. Is anyone feeling a bit worried about Diana?
Yeah, I think as we're going there, Rosie's looking down at the dress, you know, spattered in glass and spilled drinks and things like that, and she's lost that jewelry back in the casino, and she's like, Diana is going to kill me. I mean, she'll be all right. There's no way that Diamond's going to mess with the daughter of the police commissioner, but she will not forgive me for this dress. Oh, my days. Perhaps even as we get out of the car and see Misfortune.
I think that's perfect. Yeah. That's what we hear as Misfortune turns towards you. Now, this is deliberately created as a space for you to set some scenes around refreshing your spark, I have to tell you. So is there anyone who wants to set a scene that might legitimately refresh some spark?
Would Rocky like to? I know that Rocky is desperately in need of some spark.
I am in need of some spark. I mean, I'm inclined to keep pushing on that that dual identity thing. Joe, is that cool with you?
I mean, if you really want to.
Just like so. Am I understanding correctly that we've made it to a safe place that is Misfortune's hideout?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And there's like stuff around that's her crime fighting equipment or whatnot.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Newspaper articles. Like it's got the cork board, a string of criminal organizations and stuff.
I'd suggest
Nazis on the rise. You know.
I'd suggest in any scene that he's not in at the moment, Mr. Herr Klaus is simply like mopping his brow and looking shaking in the background.
Finally taking a stiff drink.
Yeah. I mean, you see Misfortune shaking up some martinis for everyone.
I love that.
Yeah. If you bring me a martini while I'm over staring at your conspiracy corkboard, I'll say, Misfortune, you always seem to turn up in just the nick of time. You're quite a daring young woman. What? There's nothing you're afraid of, or is there?
Now, just mechanically, the way I imagine this playing is that seems to be pitching at a question about their awesome life. Yeah.
Or their greatest fear.
No. If you want to be that explicit, be that explicit. And then if you don't answer that question, I will offer the other character the chance to notch down the nature of the question to a point where you're comfortable with it. Yeah. So if you want to open with greatest fear and give me permission to invoke it,
it's a 2-shot. Why would we leave that on the table? Yeah, totally. I think Rocky says this sort of like fake casually, and then does he's not actually very sly, but like his best version of like a sly look sideways because he's got some sort of inchoate suspicions. That's what I'm playing with. If that works for you.
Mm-hmm. Totally. My greatest fear is it would be my life would be ruined if I was ever exposed. All my friends and family members would be targets.
I understand. Nothing more important than family, except maybe America.
And that refreshes for spark. Simple as that.
Nice.
Where else do we want to have a scene? Rosie, are you interested in a scene with another character?
Yes, I am. And I think what I am going to ask is about Mr. Midnight, Alan Dark. Yes, well, I think that's how we start. I go, well, Mr. Midnight. Of course, Alan. I'm sorry. I do struggle with these, keeping these dual identities straight. You know, I'm just Rosy Strand wherever I go, whoever I speak to, unless I'm lying, of course. But you know, you got us out of a hairy situation there, Mr. Dark. Not for the first time. I have to wonder. It clearly ain't stage fright that worries you. And your gal Friday, well, she certainly has everything locked down, but tell me what does? I would not have the nerves to be up on stage and in front of it. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of gal myself. And I'm trying to do the same question essentially, just because it's a +4 and because it gives us, Alan, more tools to play with. You're welcome to bump it down again if you want.
If there weren't enough loose ends running at the moment, but go ahead.
Oh yeah. What worries you? What worries you the most? And if you'd like to reframe my question to sort of lead towards that, of course, you know, like I asked you about something that reminded you of it.
Yes. What was it that Oscar Wilde said? The only thing that's worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Well, I think even here in Gauntlet City, people will be talking about Mr. Midnight for some time to come.
Yes, I was in a previous life. I was anonymous, and I don't plan to have that to suffer that situation ever again if I can.
Okay, I love it. So
that works for me.
So I will refresh for Spark.
You will. Let me come to Mr. Midnight.
But is it? Oh, that reminds me. I say fishing in a pocket and pulling out a monogrammed handkerchief. I believe you dropped this, Miss Strand. You didn't drop it. But it is yours.
Yes. I laugh and go, ever the showman.
Captivating scent. I wonder if there's a story behind that. Not one I'm familiar with. As I hand it back.
Well, this was sent to me by my husband, Arthur. He's over in Europe at the moment. Got this from Paris, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I do worry about him. He says he's following up a story over in Spain. That General Franco seems to be making some noise.
Yes, a most worrisome set of affairs.
Yeah,
where they're all, from what I understand, there's a great likelihood of a civil war to break out, perhaps with certain parties, certain parties outside of Spain being heavily involved on either side.
And our gaze tracks over to the German scientist shaking in the corner with a cocktail in his hand.
That seems to be good enough to earn Mr. Alan Dark 3 Spark for a probing or intimate question about your normal life, Rosie. Yep. And finally, Ms. Midnight, do we see anything of you in terms of wanting to refresh some spark?
Misfortune.
Misfortune. I'm sorry.
So I actually had like the question. So asking the question and having it answered refreshes the questioner's spark, but answering does nothing for the answer.
The person on the receiving end, no.
Okay. So what happens if like they just refuse? Nobody gets nothing?
You get nothing. That's why I suggest that you start aiming high and then, notch it down to what the player's character would be willing to answer.
All right.
It does indeed incentivize nosiness.
Yeah. Okay. It's great for reporters. Okay. So chatting with Rocky, and the questions. What, Mr. Rockwell, Rocky, if I may.
Everybody calls me Rocky.
Well, of course they do, Mr. Rockwell. What is it that drives you to constantly risk your neck for others? You said you have a family to take care of. I mean, someone like you shouldn't really be mixing it up with the was it Joe Diamond? I don't remember.
Max Diamond.
Max Diamond and the Nazis. I mean, if you wanted to deal with the war effort, you could have always volunteered.
Well, I don't think it will come to that yet. They were looking for fully able-bodied folks to join the reserves, and I flunked the vision test. That's why I need these. And he pulls out his set of goggles, right, for his close-up work, and they've got several different modular lenses you can bring down. Now I'm just trying to make sure New Gauntlet City is safe for my darling Molly and my little boy Tommy and my little girl Rosie.
Rosie, huh? Looking over.
Yeah, I do like a head on. I think that's kind of why I feel like Miss Strand needs someone watching out for her. I know she's a grown woman, but just well, any Rose out there needs protection from the ill winds of this world.
That was either a question about their awesome life or a probing or more intimate question about their normal life. It's worth 3 spark.
Okay.
So help yourself to that. And then I think, before you get a chance to question the professor, how do you know if anyone is driving up outside the warehouse, Miss Fortune?
Rocky, what did you set up for me?
Oh, why have a dog and bark yourself? Spot on, Rocky.
I mean, he's the
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think there's a little gizmo. You say dog? There's a little gizmo. It's the head of a robot dog. It's clearly a prototype of something I'm working on. And the robot dog starts going, bark, 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 and a little alarm, a little proximity alert thing.
Which of course also makes anybody outside think that this is patrolled by a guard dog.
Wait. I can't believe you managed to get that bucket of rivets to work.
And that is the proximity alarm for some sound sensor outside picking up the arrival of a motor car.
I'm just imagining this bark with a mechanical squeak in it, like bark, bark, bark.
So, what do you? Because this is your place, Miss Fortune. I guess I want to ask you first. What do you do?
Oh well, I mean, I quick get to the high ground so I can scope out what's going on, the balcony. Gonna quick get up there to get my 45 in hand. I don't know guns, so I don't have the time. My pea shooter,
yeah.
I don't.
It's a gun. They're guns.
Yep.
We don't need to know any more than that.
Yep.
And I think from up there, the apparent dirtiness of all the windows up there to make it look abandoned, is all one way. And so you get a good view out, but people don't get a good view in. And I think what you'll see is a taxi pulling up, and 2 people getting out, a man and a woman. And I would say, Miss Fortune, that they look like the people who were calling after you.
Mm-hmm.
How they found you, I don't know. But
Neither
the taxis arrived.
Suspicious.
Let me go to Rosie. When Miss Fortune says it's the people I found were in the alley shouting "Father," what's your suggestion about what happens next, Rosie?
I go over to. I ask the professor. I can't remember what daughter is in there. Is this deine Fraulein?
And he looks up. Zara? Zara is here?
Zara. And I nod, and then I say, like, I could do with some two-fisted backup in case this is not Zara, but I'll go check it out, huh?
Okay, that works for me. Rocky, I think that was a direct request to you, but I will ask Mr. Midnight whether you make it, because there must be some kind of front for this that makes it look when you come in as though it is the inside of a bit of warehousing. And inside is sorry, nearly said lair, meant hideout. So Mr. Midnight, do you back up Rosie and Rocky, or do you wait here with the professor?
Well, is there, does this warehouse have an office?
I think probably yeah.
It's probably got a little office right there, so I will be in the office.
Fine.
And so if people came in, that would be the natural place that they would, So I'm there shuffling some papers,
Sorry, there was a baby for a second.
There was flying baby.
Flying
baby. That is so pulp.
A little cameo.
Little cameo. I think it's a plot. I think that there's a cameo in every one with one of the parents in. Anyway, I'll come back to that. So fine, Rosie and Rocky, you go down and I guess we see you unbolting the doors. And outside are these two people. And I think I've added them to the faces and places. Leo and Zara Haas, who say, I'm looking for my father, says Zara.
Well, and does your father normally live down here in the south side? You look from a bit further away, my dear.
No, I asked the taxi driver to follow a car that my father was in, and it disappeared at one point. But I'm just looking anywhere.
Zara, is it, honey?
Yes, my name is Zara. Zara Haas. My brother Leo.
Well, and I lean out and look around the street. Come on in. Entschuldigen, bitte.
And she looks a little worried and a little nervous, and saying, so my father is here?
Your father's here, honey, and if you don't get your ass in gear, then there'll be other people here too, huh?
Oh, yes. And she comes in with Leo and into the front office, I guess, which is the front for this, where Rocky and Mr. Midnight are located. Mr. Midnight, do you want to do anything, or is this we're just going to cut to a family reunion?
We're kind of cut to the reunion, I think.
Fine. And there is a family reunion. They're embrace. Much chatter in German. And the professor says, I was supposed to meet my children at that club. We were invited. I don't know why. Rocky, what's your view of all this?
Yeah, I'm like, stroking my chin a little bit, taking all this in, and I'm like, Prof, you work with ballistics, I recall, from Gizmo magazine.
Oh, you know my work.
Just a little. I'm a dabbler myself. Is there anyone who'd be trying to steal your work that might be responsible for that for you nearly getting snatched back at that club?
Well, there is my notebook that is in my hotel room. And that is where all my work is kept. But I guess that the Hitler, the Nazis would want it. I got everything I could out.
Yeah, he's trying to get everything, huh? Where's your hotel?
It's the White Hotel near the club.
Yeah, so sounds like it's possible we might want to, beat feet to get there and grab the notebook, but I'm happy for other folks to also ask this family questions if there's more we want to know from them.
Let me go to Mr. Midnight next then.
So let's see. He's got some. He has papers near his hotel. It's like they were ready to kidnap you today. There'll be somebody watching your hotel. We're going to have to get you in.
Why? This is America. Quietly. This is a free country.
It is. It is. They're operating illegally, but that's not going to stop them.
Then what should I do? He looks about you and looks
We'll get you in. Don't worry.
And Misfortune, is there anything you want to talk about with this family?
I'm mostly like keeping an eye on them. I don't know if I trust the family members, whether or not they were followed. Maybe they're spies for someone more nefarious. So like I'm mostly like watching from the shadows and like reading a person type thing.
Okay, I'll come to that in a moment then. I just want to point out a rule, which is that fraternizing with a villain, if during the course of an episode you take or make an opportunity to fraternize with a villain or a named NPC that this will define as a villain from now on,
okay,
say what form the fraternization takes and what valuable secret you give away and gain 4 spark.
Can you get more than your starting spark?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just putting that on the table, just so everybody's made a note of it. So you're eyeing them up rather suspiciously.
Yeah. And like, how old do they look?
I think I've put faces in the. So I think that Zara is an attractive 20-something.
Okay.
Leo is probably a little older, but not unattractive.
Okay. So how do I fraternize? Let's.
Well, give it a bit of thought. I'll come back to you in a moment. Rosie, you're the only person so far that hasn't had you've opened the conversation. Rocky's talked to the professor. What do you want to do, if anything?
We need that notebook. That's the professor's here is on thing. I would like to offer. I don't want to step over that fraternize with a villain thing, if anyone, but my suggestion would be to sympathize and say, oh, well, you can't possibly stay at that hotel, dear. Where are you? They'll be looking for you there. I have a friend, Diana Darling. She can help you out with that. Here's the address of, she has places all over town, and here's the key that she gives me for whatever, right? And it would be...
well, before you go any further with that, let's check in with Diana. Yeah, okay. So, and is this for all 3 of them, or?
Should I name the NPC that you would define as a villain from now on out of these 3?
Well,
or do you want me to just leave it
fraternization is going to take more than just offering them a bed for the night.
Yes. Well, I will talk to them about how you must have come over from Germany. It's a long journey. People wanting to stop you.
So, who is this targeted at? Who are you fraternizing with?
You know what? I like the idea of Zara, because I think the obvious choice is to say it's Leo who's the turncoat. But I like the idea of these three women characters. This triangle of different faces.
Okay, so I'm again, I will come back to the others, but what I'm imagining is cutting to whichever apartment Rosie has a key to, and running the fraternization there.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
But I want to be clear if anybody else wants to take a fraternization opportunity. So Rocky, I don't know about you.
I just might be plain old nice to
the professor.
To the prof. Yeah, just chatting him up a little about his research, right? Because I genuinely take an interest.
Absolutely. So this is if during the course of an episode you go out of your way to do something nice for any ordinary person. I think that's absolutely playing to the prof. Roll be normal plus heart against a difficulty of 2. Difficulty of 2.
And I think part of it is I like it's when we get a quiet moment in the midst of all this, I like say like slightly awkwardly to him. So I read a little about some of the stuff you'd been working on, and I wondered if you'd take a look at this. And I like pull out like my own much creased blueprints for something some invention I've submitted a patent on, right? And I like want to like get his notes, and like clearly am anxious for his approval. So
absolutely. I think that plays it calms him down. It gives him something to think about. It's great. So I think that is therefore roll be normal plus heart versus a difficulty of 2.
All right, I've got 5 dice for that. Can I use can I put in my inventor dice for it?
I think I'm prepared to let that happen.
All right. Great. So that's 6 successes, and 3 of them are 6s.
I think in this circumstance, the 6 is going to be worth anything, but you get +1 spark per POW. So that is 6 spark added to Rocky. Who knew that being nice to an old German guy could be so fulfilling?
Is 12 the maximum spark?
Is that as far as the count goes?
The character keeper doesn't let me pick anything higher than 12 from the drop-down menu.
Given that I just took this from Rich's original one, I'm going to assume that the intention is that 12 is where you ceiling.
Okay, so I am fully sparked up after having a little confab about engineering with Professor Haas here.
Mr. Midnight, do you want to engage with the family in a fraternizing kind of way?
That's not what I do. I think I'm going to prepare for a bit of trouble instead, and just go down to the office and pocket a thing or two that I think might be helpful.
Okay, so you are prepped. Miss Fortune, what about you?
Oh yeah, I do, but I want to like do it in a Diana role when like.
Fine.
Yeah.
That gives me all I need.
Yeah,
so
when Rosie leads them to the apartment, Diana's there.
as you would expect her to be. Yeah. Because what if Rocky and Mr. Midnight go to retrieve the notes while Rosie and Diana Rosie takes the family to the apartment, and there's Diana. Mm-hmm. Does that play?
I love that. Diana, Miss Fortune comes in through the window while we're going up the elevator to the penthouse. I just want to say there is no maximum number of spark. I just looked and hit the streets book. It's up to you if you want to,
I'm at 14.
Put 14 in there. I will make sure I extend. Clearly, I'm not playing this hard enough. So you got 14 spark.
Just give me some high difficulty to spend it on.
Indeed. That's what I need to start doing now. Or maybe start taking multiple spark. So Rocky and Mr. Midnight. Let's start with Mr. Midnight. Because I want a very brief scene given where we are on the timeline, our timeline for today. I want a very brief scene to show how you are approaching the hotel room, Mr. Midnight.
Having obtained, because we have the key, right? Yes.
Certainly the professor will give you his key.
So the first thing is that I'm going to case the area for bad people. It's like is anybody watching? Is anybody in the lobby sitting around who has no business doing that, or who's acting, who's holding a newspaper in front of his face, or has dark glasses on at the wrong time of day.
So I think that definitely counts as hustler. So you get 1 for that. I can't see the mesmerist playing here.
No, I don't think so.
So I think it's being normal for another dice. And I think it's based on perception. So that's another 2. So I think the difficulty, you've got 4 dice so far. And I think the difficulty is probably 3.
Perception isn't Ted?
Perception is, oh, sorry, you're 3. That's 5. My apologies.
Okay, yes.
I went across.
Okay, the difficulty is 5. I'll spend a point of spark.
Okay, so that's 6 dice. You're looking for 3
6 dice.
POWs.
3 POWs. And I did not get it.
Okay, but you did get, no, you weren't being awesome, so you don't have to worry about the oofs. So nothing strikes you as suspicious. So I think I now have the elevator door opens on the right floor. Rocky, what do we see you doing as you step onto the floor? The professor's room is just down this corridor.
Yeah, so I've changed out of the ill-fitting tuxedo, right? And so like now I'm in just overalls, right? Like kind of a like a cover-up thing that makes it look like maybe I'm a handyman here to fix something in this room on behalf of the hotel. So I'm just walking down the hall, whistling, trying to seem like I'm supposed to be here. And
while Mr. Midnight watches your back, and so we see you come to the door. Rocky, what do you do?
Yeah, I have the key from the professor. I'm gonna open it.
It's unlocked.
My key, hovers in midair, and I like put it back into my pocket, and then like pull from my other pocket a trusty wrench, and kind of bring that up in readiness as I open the door in case I need to just knock someone out as soon as I'm in there.
Okay, let's cut to Diana's apartment. Rosie, you expressed an interest in fraternization with Zara, I think. So what form does this take?
I think it's that sharing of it's tough here in Gauntlet City, but you can make it on your own. As a woman, you can even stand on your own 2 feet. I mean, and I'm put around all this. Like some of us are born into it, of course. Diana, brothers have to work, but this is a place where you can work, and it'll be, and this place will be really safe for you and your family. No one will ever think to look here for. Diana, no one. No one believes anyone like me could be Diana's friend, but we go back, and I think ultimately the kind of like the vulnerable secret that I'm putting up is that I trust her, and I would leave her here with her family, and you know what I mean? Like it's an open situation, if that's enough to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah. That works for me. Daughter Zara Haas, daughter of Professor Haas, bracket, and villain bracket, leave her with the family. So you trust her enough to not have to worry about her. Diana, just as everyone's coming into the kind of sitting room of this penthouse apartment or whatever it is, Diana presumably sweeps out of a back room looking, perfect as always.
Of course.
And how does are you interested in a bit of fraternization here?
Oh, sure, totally. First off, Rosie, I was wondering where you ran off to and all that excitement, but I'm just so happy that you're okay. It was ever such a fright. I mean, that menace misfortune showed up, and thankfully the police arrived rather quickly to protect us all.
Well, you could do with taking a leaf out of her book, Diana. I've always said that it's better to confront things head on, and she does. But you just swarmed off when I needed you.
Who are these friends of yours?
Oh, these are the Hasses. They're a lovely German family that needs a place to lie low. You understand?
Of course. Oh, welcome. Please, my home is your home. And as I shake their, I make the introductions, of course, the pleasantries, and leading into the fraternization. I was like, obviously, Zara. And I'm like looking her over. I'm like, you clearly. I'm sorry. You will need if you're on the run and you need to lay low, I can provide you with a wardrobe change. Please, like, come with me. And this is like when I like take Zara off, and the vulnerable secret is that like I'm getting closer and closer, like I'm blatant like flirting with her more and more, so she's learning that I'm queer. And in the 30s, it's not good, especially if she's a Nazi. That's bad.
Yeah. I will play with that if it's okay with you in a moment.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to leaving Rocky on the threshold of that door. And I guess, Mr. Midnight, from the far end of the corridor where you're watching his back, you will see Rocky stop with the key, reach into his toolbox, come out with a wrench.
Right. So
and then Rocky, you step across the threshold.
Right. So I'm down the corridor as fast as I can.
Okay, you're backing him up. Rocky, what do you do?
Well, what do I see when I open the door?
It's been trashed.
Been
trashed.
Someone's gone through here and maybe found the notebook.
I guess you'd have to search for it to see. He told you where it was, so I'm not going to make you roll for that. It's not where he told you it was.
Not where he told me. As soon as I know that, I rush to the window to see if I see someone, like clambering down the wall or something,
I think almost certainly the window is open. The curtains are blowing in the wind. You look out the window and you see a car speeding away. I guess now it's a question of, did they leave you any clues?
Right.
And I would want you to be aware that these clues will tie into your location next time. So I'm not going to ask you for the clues now. Okay? But make a note that you are going to find some clues to where you are going next.
Got it. And we'll just kind of handle that narratively as we set up where we're going next
Exactly.
at the top of the next session.
Yeah.
Then I guess all we see is, Rocky, after not finding the notebook, just hits the bedside table with the wrench in frustration, and it tips over and he spots something that had fallen behind it.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah. And we know where the fraternization is drifting. Presumably Leo and the professor will share a bed. One of the the guest bedroom.
Can I add a little detail to our fraternization? If it's okay to say, I think that the professor tells me about how proud he is of his children and how they know his work as well. Zara, she's brilliant. She's quite brilliant. And yeah, that's just all I wanted to add to that.
And I'm seeing Rosie asleep on the couch. Diana, what do we fade to black on? Or the following morning, what do we fade out of black on that infers something may have happened across the night?
Muted. So I think the fade to black is as they're doing the trying on of different outfits and matching their size, and that's the camera just pans over to the candle, it's the classic Three Musketeers, pans over to the light on the nightstand as the light fades out.
And I would like to suggest that the pan from dark to light is the following morning. The professor, Zara, and Leo, who weren't being watched because Rosie trusted them, are gone. Dun, dun, dun. And that, I think, is probably our game, our session, should I say. I'd like to think that I actually like to think Diana keeps this as a bigger secret than Misfortune. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, that was it for Rosie. So.
Okay, so I would like a quick stars and wishes. If we've got a couple of minutes left before our scheduled closing time. So let me go. I went in character keeper order the last time. Let me reverse the character keeper order and start with Brandon. Brandon, any stars?
Oh, well, I thought this was wonderful fun, and then I like all the characters. I'm a huge fan of the classic pulp thing and the crashing through the skylights and all that sort of thing was pulp adventure, writ perfectly large. But really, I liked everything. I'll sprinkle them all around.
Great. Thank you for that. Will, any stars?
I loved our little group of misfit adventurers. I loved the fact that we got to have a magic show involved in it. I loved Diana Darling's dual identities, allowing me to play off that constantly with the thing. And I loved Rocky being the put upon, the dad, really. You know what I mean? In so many ways. And I really like the I think it's a good system for this exact thing because it is quite pulpy.
Well, we'll have a roses and thorns after the next one. But, so stars and wishes. Any stars? How far have I got? Joe, any stars?
I love all these characters. I love the intrepid reporter, the mechanic inventor dad, and the magician that helps fight crime, and I love Mr. Midnight a lot, but I was like, make them disappear. It's like now you can go do some stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. I think I wasn't certain how the mesmerist was going to work in play, I have to say. So thank you, Brandon, for leading heavily into that. Before I get to my stars, though, Alexi, any stars?
Yeah, this was fun. Loved the rotating table and all of the shenanigans with it. The increasing elaborateness of that gadget was a real highlight. And I enjoyed sprinkling in the occasional Gauntlet Comics reference without getting too far afield from our kind of Indiana Jones base genre here.
No, I appreciate that because I don't know the Gauntlet Comics universe really well, and so it's good to have some people who know it better than I do.
Let's just say that little dog barking, grows up to have a bigger role.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so. Viewers, go now. Anything Mark Gauntlet Comics on the Gauntlet YouTube channel, you need to find that dog. Okay.
Check out the Allied Angels sessions.
Oh, fine. Thank you. Stars from me. I loved the Diana going to the ladies' room, and no one worries that she then has disappeared for a long time. But there is the closest we have to a superhero. I thought Mr. Midnight's endless, but then I'll distract the crowd. Shazam! Rosy, plucky. I won't treat appearing at the back of the stage to be a problem. This is an opportunity. And Rocky, grounded. We know his family. We know, it's all of that's great. So that worked very well for me. Thank you very much, folks, for leaning into the tropes. Any wishes for next time? Let me go round again. Brandon, anything you particularly want to see next time?
Nazis.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. It really are. They haven't really made themselves apparent here, except by implication.
We have to have a climax that involves Nazis doing something. Yeah. All we have to do is to work.
I feel like we need to hit the Nazis.
Indeed, right. Indeed.
It's in the title.
Will, anything other than Nazis?
Some ridiculous secret lab or architecture or something. You know what I mean? Like it makes no sense, but it's there, like a set piecey type stuff. 100%. And if it's a two-shot, I would love somewhere near the end to have that moment of like, holy shit, Miss Fortune's Diana Darling, even if it's just in an epilogue, kind of like a sort of like putting two and two together kind of thing.
No, I and as long as Joe is happy with that, I'm happy with that. What about wishes, Joe?
I guess the police chasing us, the heroes. I mean, like, because anti-vigilante.
Vigilante. Police trouble.
Yeah.
There's your dad.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought about having them turn up and chase the roadster away, but I couldn't think how to then get everyone back together in a hurry. So I will do my best. I will do my best.
Just don't have any mechanics. Just say we get away.
Yeah. You see, it's just the traditional gamer in me. I just can't leave a mechanic.
We go. Police harassment though is huge. I think we definitely need that.
And then Alexi, any wishes?
Car chase.
Car chase.
Chance to show up to show off how I've souped up Cherry, the 1933 Dodge pickup.
Okay, I go with that. Okay, I will stop the recording now. So wave bye-bye to the internet.